The FBI added the first woman ever to their most wanted terrorist list. Her name was Assata Shakur, and at the time she was put on the list, the alleged crime she committed happened over 40 years ago. If you look at this list today, Assata still occupies the #1 spot. So what makes Assata so dangerous, and why is the FBI obsessed with capturing her? Hey everybody, Professor Moore here, and today I want to talk about the remarkable and controversial life of Assata Shakur. I first learned about Assata while doing research for my dissertation, and after reading her autobiography, I became convinced that more people need to know about her life and struggles. This is her story. Assata was born in 1947 with the name Joanne Chesimard, and she grew up in North Carolina and New York. And from the time she was a little girl, she experienced all of the ugliness of American racism. She described how, "I can remember clearly squatting in the bushes with mosquitoes biting me, and my grandmother handing me toilet paper because we could not find a place with a colored bathroom. Sometimes we were hungry, but there was no place to eat. Other times we were sleepy and there was no hotel or motel that would admit us. If I sit and add up all the colored toilets and drinking fountains in my life and all of the back of the buses or the Jim Crow rail cars or the places I couldn't go, it adds up to one great ball of anger." It took a while for Joanne to begin to question what she had been taught about America. She explained how, as a child, "I believed that America was really a good country. Like my teacher said in school, the greatest country on the face of the earth. I grew up believing that stuff, really believing it. And now, 20 odd years later, it seems like a bad joke." As a teenager, Joanne started doing her own research, and she began to question everything she had ever been taught. She realized that we had been completely brainwashed and we didn't even know it. We accepted white value systems and white standards of beauty, and at times we accepted the white man's view of ourselves. We had never been exposed to any other point of view or any other standard of beauty. Joanne finally came to see that nobody is going to give you the education you need to overthrow them. Nobody is going to teach you your true history, teach you your true heroes, if they know that that knowledge will help set you free. Schools in America are interested in brainwashing people with Americanism, giving them a little bit of education and training them in skills needed to fill the positions the capitalist system requires. As long as we expect America's schools to educate us, we will remain ignorant. Once Joanne began this process of self-discovery, she made an important observation that would shape her life. She came to see that America is plagued by two evils, racism and capitalism. She concluded that capitalism meant that rich businessmen owned the wealth, while socialism meant that the people who made the wealth owned it. And she believed that both the Democratic and the Republican Party are controlled by millionaires, and they are only interested in holding on to their power. She said, "To me, the revolutionary struggle of Black people had to be against racism, capitalism, imperialism, and sexism, and for real freedom under a socialist government." When she was in her 20s, Joanne briefly joined the Black Panther Party, but as that party started to break down, she joined a more militant group called the Black Liberation Army. Joining this group changed her life. Joanne now decided she would dedicate her life to becoming a full-time revolutionary. She said, "Of all the things I wanted to be when I was a little girl, a revolutionary certainly wasn't one of them, and now it was the only thing I wanted to do. Everything else was secondary." This was such a major step and departure from her previous life that she decided to adopt a new name. Joanne Chesimard decided to discard her slave name and adopt the name Assata Shakur. Shakur means thankful one, and Assata means she who struggles. Joanne became Assata in 1971 at the age of 24, and she couldn't have chosen a more fitting name. Because from 1971 to 1979, her life was one long series of struggles against the criminal justice system, racism, and the capitalist system that upholds it all. All of her troubles began on May 2nd, 1973, when Shakur and two other members of the Black Liberation Army were pulled over by police on the New Jersey Turnpike. After a struggle, a Black Liberation Army member and a police officer were shot dead, and Assata was badly wounded by 2 gunshots. Asada was then charged with murder and several other crimes. Now that police had Asada in their custody, they charged her with crimes dating back to 1971. And over a 5-year period, she faced a total of 7 trials for her alleged activities with the Black Liberation Army. These included bank robbery, kidnapping, attempted murder, and fatally shooting a police officer. Before she ever stepped into a courtroom, law enforcement and the media had already painted her as a violent, un-American criminal. That's why she felt an urgent need to get a message to the public contradicting her widespread demonization. Asada was able to convince her aunt and lawyer, Evelyn Williams, to bring a tape recorder to one of their meetings at the prison so she could record a message. On Independence Day 1973, Asada recorded her message titled "To My People" that was then broadcast on several radio stations. In the message, she said, "Black brothers, black sisters, I want you to know that I love you, and I hope that somewhere in your hearts you have love for me. My name is Asada Shakur, and I am a revolutionary, a black revolutionary. By that I mean that I have declared war on all of the forces that have raped our women, castrated our men, and kept our babies empty-bellied. I have declared war on the rich who prosper on our poverty, the politicians who lie to us with smiling faces, and all the mindless, heartless robots who protect them and their property. I am a black revolutionary, and as such, I am a victim of all of the wrath, hatred, and slander that America is capable of. Like all other black revolutionaries, America is trying to lynch me." It should be clear to us by now who the real criminals are. Nixon and his crime partners have murdered hundreds of third world brothers and sisters in Vietnam, Cambodia, Mozambique, Angola, and South Africa. As was proved by Watergate, the top law enforcement officials in this country are a lying bunch of criminals. The rulers of this country have always considered their property more important than our lives. They call us murderers, but we did not murder Martin Luther King Jr., Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, George Jackson, Nat Turner, James Chaney, and countless others. They call us thieves and bandits. They say we steal, but it was not we who stole millions of black people from Africa. They call us thieves, yet it is not we who rip off billions of dollars every year through tax evasions, illegal price fixing, embezzlement, consumer fraud, bribes, kickbacks, and swindles. They call us thieves, but we did not rob and murder millions of Indians by ripping off their homeland, then call ourselves pioneers. Every revolution in history has been accomplished by actions. We must create shields that protect us and spears that penetrate our enemies. Black people must learn how to struggle by struggling. Authorities were frustrated because almost all of their cases were dropped for lack of evidence. Asada's trials either ended in not guilty verdicts, mistrials, or hung juries. It was only during her last trial for the murder of a police officer when she was finally convicted. However, the evidence at the trial proved that Asada did not fire a gun that night, and there is no way that she could be responsible for that police officer's death. But the evidence didn't matter. They wanted Asada locked up, and they were willing to do anything to make sure it happened. In 1977, Asada was sentenced to 33 years in prison, but 2 years later, she made a daring escape and traveled to Cuba, where she still lives to this day. Many today see Asada as a cold-blooded murderer. The FBI wants her brought back to America so she can be thrown back into prison. But others know the truth. They know that the evidence presented at her trial proved she was innocent. They know that from the day Asada became a revolutionary, the government targeted her and was determined to imprison her no matter what. So what advice would Asada give us on this matter? Well, she would tell us, always decide who your enemies are for yourself, and never let your enemies choose your enemies for you. And for those of us who are afraid to embrace a revolutionary life, she would tell us, I'm more afraid of what will happen if I don't struggle than what will happen if I do. If you want to learn more about Asada Shakur, please read her amazing autobiography. You will not regret it. In 2013, the FBI added
I'm gonna be honest. I'm happy. You know why? Because now white people get to feel what we've been feeling when our leaders get killed.
That's right. That's right.
You see how they feel? The only difference with them is that they force the empathy on everybody else. Our people, they don't. When they killed the Black Panthers off, they didn't. The internet and not the internet at that time, but the mass media demonized them.
Right.
So the difference with Charlie Kirk is that the internet is trying to make us feel sorrowful for a man who's a bigot that we don't care about. So now I'm happy they get the feel. Now whether he lived or died, I don't care less. I could care less. If he would have survived, I don't care. If he would have died, I don't care. But the point is, I'm happy they get to feel the pain we felt when Martin Luther King died.
Right.
They get to feel the pain we felt when Malcolm X died. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Fred Hampton died. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Emmett Till was killed. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Nat Turner was killed. How y'all feel about Charlie Kirk? I'm gonna be honest. I'm happy. You know why? Because now white people get to feel what we've been feeling when our leaders get killed.
That's right. That's right.
You see how they feel? The only difference with them is that they force the empathy on everybody else. Our people, they don't. When they killed the Black Panthers off, they didn't. The internet and not the internet at that time, but the mass media demonized them.
Right.
So the difference with Charlie Kirk is that the internet is trying to make us feel sorrowful for a man who's a bigot that we don't care about. So now I'm happy they get the feel. Now whether he lived or died, I don't care less. I could care less. If he would have survived, I don't care. If he would have died, I don't care. But the point is, I'm happy they get to feel the pain we felt when Martin Luther King died.
Right.
They get to feel the pain we felt when Malcolm X died. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Fred Hampton died. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Emmett Till was killed. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Nat Turner was killed. How y'all feel about Charlie Kirk? I'm gonna be honest. I'm happy. You know why? Because now white people get to feel what we've been feeling when our leaders get killed.
That's right. That's right.
You see how they feel? The only difference with them is that they force the empathy on everybody else. Our people, they don't. When they killed the Black Panthers off, they didn't. The internet and not the internet at that time, but the mass media demonized them.
Right.
So the difference with Charlie Kirk is that the internet is trying to make us feel sorrowful for a man who's a bigot that we don't care about. So now I'm happy they get the feel. Now whether he lived or died, I don't care less. I could care less. If he would have survived, I don't care. If he would have died, I don't care. But the point is, I'm happy they get to feel the pain we felt when Martin Luther King died.
Right.
They get to feel the pain we felt when Malcolm X died. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Fred Hampton died. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Emmett Till was killed. They get to feel the pain that we felt when Nat Turner was killed. Y'all
white man rule you like is?
Well, young man, you first must be born again. God is a
No, I
spirit.
ain't born again. I ain't got to be born again. See, I was born in a new generation. You could your mother could have brainwashed you, but can't nobody brainwash me. I'm ready. It's gonna take young boys like us to win the revolution.
The white peoples realized today that they was wrong for enslaving the Negro. The great mass. May I finish? I'll wait. Why, if you so militant and so intelligent, why don't you keep your mouth shut?
I'll tell you why, Reverend Mitchell, because I'm sick and tired of you standing up there on a television camera, a black man with a white heart and a white face. You're a black Anglo-Saxon, you're a disgrace to the race to stand up about a white man loving you.
Have God ever told you to let this white man rule you like he is?
Well, young man, you first must be born again. God is a spirit.
No, I ain't born again. I ain't got to be born again. See, I was born in a new generation. You could your mother could have brainwashed you, but can't nobody brainwash me. I'm ready. It's gonna take young boys like us to win the revolution.
The white peoples realized today that they was wrong for enslaving the Negro. The great mass. May I finish? I'll wait. Why, if you so militant and so intelligent, why don't you keep your mouth shut?
I'll tell you why, Reverend Mitchell, because I'm sick and tired of you standing up there on a television camera, a black man with a white heart and a white face. You're a black Anglo-Saxon, you're a disgrace to the race to stand up about a white man loving you.
Where you gonna go when we start revolution? Whose side are you gonna be on? Are you still gonna be on your knees begging for us jobs?
Mr. Meek said he wouldn't just die standing on his feet rather than die on his knees. I will die standing up for God, regardless of any circumstance.
Okay. If God ever told you to let this white man rule you like he is, where you gonna go when we start revolution? Whose side are you gonna be on? Are you still gonna be on your knees begging for us jobs?
Mr. Meek said he wouldn't just die standing on his feet rather than die on his knees. I will die standing up for God, regardless of any circumstance.
Okay. If God ever told you to let this white man rule you like he is, where
And we saw your African counterparts in the United States posing for a sort of class photo with President Trump. And I'll share a comment from a friend of mine who said that Captain Traoré would never have accepted that. Is that true?
All right, folks, once again, this is Frank. We're going to start the show after this recording. You know, that's how we do it, right? Before the show start, we do some introductory video so that you can see where we're going. So in this last video, there was a question asked to Abraham Traoré. And you see, this is one reason sometimes Africa or African people, right, or Black people in general, we find ourselves in some predicament that we are not supposed to be, that we were not supposed to be, right? But sometimes, some of us, some Black people, when they feel so entitled of being educated, especially with a colonial education or with Western education, right? They feel that they are on top of things. But the truth is, they do not understand anything. But they feel that they are on top of things. But the truth is, they do not understand anything. You see in this video, the journalists, some of them in this video that asked Abraham Traoré, just listen to the question they asked. You see, they are not or were never concerned about the situation in Sudan. They are not or were never concerned about the situation in DRC Congo. They are not or were never concerned about what we go through on a daily basis in Africa, in Black nations. They were never concerned. But what they were concerned of is these Sahel nations on the side of Asia. What do they think about Russia and Ukraine war? But these idiots, these African idiots that call themselves journalists, some of them idiots, these slaves, they don't care about discussing the issues of Africa and African people or Black people. But let's watch. I don't want to take much of your time. We're going to dive into it.
And we saw your African counterparts in the United States posing for a sort of class photo with President Trump. And I'll share a comment from a friend of mine who said that Captain Traoré would never have accepted that. Is that true?
Listen, I don't travel much anymore, as you mentioned. And I went to Russia twice for very specific purposes. It may be that I turn to other partners for very specific objectives. Other than that, I don't plan to travel around the world like others do. Because for me, you have to stay focused and work for your country. President Trump himself said, America first. It's America first. He works for the interests of Americans. So I work for the interests of Burkina Faso. If I have no interest there, what would I go there for?
So one of the major current geopolitical issues is, of course, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We see states taking a stronger and stronger stance. We've seen Western European states, to name them, say that they will recognize, and that's a strong signal, the Palestinian state. But as usual, Africa is almost silent. It is in a wait-and-see position.
So you see this journalist, or whether he's a journalist or not, but you see this individual who asking Abraham Traore about Israel. About European crisis. Oh my God. What does Africa have to do with European crisis? Since when have Europeans have concerns about African crisis? In the first place, the European caused the crisis in Africa. The Western world caused the crisis, or they causes the crisis in Africa. They do it. Who caused the issue in Libya? The United States and NATO. Yes, it's them. So why should Africans care or be concerned about European crisis? Why? When they cause our demise. The issue in Sudan, who causes? European. The West, they cause it. Yes, because we have tape where the United States government, the United States Congress said in 5 years, they named places that they were going to break down, and Sudan was the last place. And today, Sudan, they named Libya, that it was going to make sure in our 5 years, Libya was going to go down. They was going to carry war in Libya, and it did it. Why should we be concerned? Is this a kind of question that you're going to pose to Abraham Traore, or are you going to pose a question? Why should we be concerned about Israel? When Israel have the right to defend herself, didn't the United States say Israel have the right to defend herself. Israel have the right to carry on genocide. Israel have the right to carry on mass murder in Palestine and Gaza. And we saw that. Since when have any European journalists questioned the United States and NATO about the issues they caused in Libya? Since when have Western journalists questioned the US of destroying Libya? Even you Africans, since when have you questioned US diplomat when they go on the African continent? In fact, the last time we checked, and this is what we're going to discuss here, the last time we checked, we saw American diplomat in August in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou, and they met with Abraham Traore, begging him on their knees. Were you there to ask the American government, the American authority or delegates that went there? Were you there to ask them about why NATO and the US destroyed Libya, killed Gaddafi? Were you there? Or you were there, but you did not ask because you are a puppet. And you asking an African man, oh, what is Africa stand? Africa is silent. Do we care? Oh, Europe or European or the rest of the world are concerned about Asia, but Africa is silent. Why can Africa be silent when they are silent on the African issues? When they see US and they see Europe, they veto against African issues. Oh man. You see, let's continue here.
Burkina, can you give a position that helps us understand a bit about what Africa thinks regarding what is happening today in the Gaza Strip?
I can't give you a position that shows what Africa thinks.
Certain matters. For certain African leaders?
Because many African leaders have a different way of seeing things. That's Africa's misfortune, if I may say so. We are not united. We don't see things the same way. Some are afraid, some are hesitant, some are there for the interests of other people. Listen, the West brought in people who grew up there, did everything there, and then made them heads of state in Africa. So they're the ones who control all of that. And so Africa can't have an opinion. But I know that deep down in each and every one of us, no one would want to see what's happening over there happen in their own country. But unfortunately, on the African continent, there's a similar situation in Congo. What are we even doing for Congo?
The Democratic Republic of Congo.
How many millions of deaths has it been, and for how long? We ourselves are at war. Have you seen any African countries even speak up for Burkina in the past 10 years? It's rare, it's rare. So Africans have this problem, while when someone in Europe sees they have a problem, everyone is united, people manage to quickly find solutions. It's the same in the United States. But Africa has this problem. You see, we've been fighting for 10 years. You haven't heard anyone raise Burkina's voice at the level of international institutions, nor Mali's, nor Niger's. Our people are dying, and it's not their problem. Congo is dying, and it's not our problem. Last time I tried in one of my speeches to speak out. How many millions of deaths has it been? Look at Sudan, see how they're tearing each other apart. There are so many conflicts on our... We're already struggling, and we can't even make our own voices heard. So how are we going to speak up for others? So we Africans need to come together.
Can Burkina recognize a Palestinian state?
We ourselves are at war.
And you see the thing about we Africans, no matter how you try to educate an African man, once they have made up their mind about something, whether it is not even in their interest, as long as they have made up their mind, they don't care. You can even try to educate them. You can even give them evidence. They don't care. This man Abraham Traore explained clearly. Even a little child who is born today, that have ear, that have mind, will understand how clearly this man spoke. And this idiot still standing there, asking him, can you recognize Palestine as an independent state? Who is to determine that? Who is to determine that? This man just told you clearly, look, we Africans should have no issue with what the white man or Europe think, how the world, how Palestine or how Asia is supposed to be. We should be discussing Africa. This man was telling you, since when have we discussed the issue of Sudan? Since when have we discussed the issue of DRC? Since when have we discussed the issue of even Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, what we are going through? Since when have you gone on your postcard or your Facebook to talk about the progress we are making in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger? Since when? The truth is, we Africans should discuss Africans. This man clearly told you what America do, they do it for Americans. What Europe do, they do it for the European. What the Australian do, they do it for the Australian. What the Chinese do, they do it for the Chinese. What the Russian do, they do it for the Russian. So what Africans do, Africans should do it for the Africans. And you still asking him, so what is your stand? Should Palestine have a separate state? Okay, if Abraham Traore say yes, are you going to go to Asia, or are you going to go to US and tell them, say, hey, Abraham Traore said Palestine should have a separate state? Why would you want to? You see, we Africans, we always put our leaders in danger. And I love the answer this man gave him. What Europe do, they do it for the Europeans. So what Africans do, it should be for Africans. And I love the answer this man gave him. I don't have time going to America. What is the purpose of going there? What is the purpose of going traveling abroad? My duty here is Burkina Faso. It's to please Burkina Bees. It's to build Burkina Faso. With all the traveling, these so-called head of state, these slaves in Africa have traveled. Like, let me see right here. You see some of them right here? Right here, let me name them. This is Faye, right here, the Senegalese president. The one who just agreed to Macron to sell the ore, the resources, to renegotiate colonial policy of France. That's Faye right here. Right here is Guinea-Bissau. Right here. And then here is Gabon. Right here is Gabon. Here, oh my God, is the other puppet. This is the Liberian president. Right here. Right here. And then here should be Equatoria Guinea. All these slaves, all these idiots. Here, Faye was the one that told Donald Trump he want to open a golf. He want to make golf field in Senegal for Donald Trump to go play golf. And Donald Trump played forward of him. Donald Trump said, hey, we can be sitting here all day and discuss this. I have a lot of golf fee in the US to play golf, and you want to go build golf fee for me in Senegal? Why can't you build it for your people to play golf? But you want to build golf fee for me to go play golf in Senegal. And then here is the Gabon president and the Equatorial Guinea president also. They decided that Donald Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize when they met with Trump. And this meeting was about trade, how they call it, agreement, right? Not aid, but trade. So their only trade was to advocate for Donald Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize award. If to say Africa have any relevance. Does Africa have any relevance in Europe when it comes to these things? If you have any relevance, why they can't give you veto power? But in a nutshell, they said to you, if Africa have veto power, the United Nations are going to be dysfunctional because they see you people on the African continent as dysfunctional leaders. And then here, that's my president here, Liberia. He told Donald Trump, man, we have millions of resources. What I need from you is to come and survey my resources. And Donald Trump said, wow, you speak good English. So to come and survey your resources, is that why you came to meet me? To tell me to go and survey your resources? Oh my God. African leaders are so interesting, man. African leaders are interesting, you know. Oh God. And this is why when they are about to die, they come and die in Western Hospital. And then after they die in Western Hospital, then they take their body back and bury their body in a dumpster, like Putin said. Africa is like a graveyard. Because when African president die, they bury them in a graveyard there.
Have you seen any African countries even speak up for Burkina in the past 10 years? It's rare, it's rare. So Africans have this problem. While when someone in Europe sees they have a problem, everyone is united, people manage to quickly find solutions. It's the same in the United States. But Africa has this problem. You see, we've been fighting for 10 years. You haven't heard anyone raise Burkina's voice at the level of international institutions, nor Mali's, nor Niger's. Our people are dying, and it's not their problem. Congo is dying, and it's not our problem. Last time I tried in one of my speeches to speak out. How many millions of deaths has it been? Look at Sudan, see how they're killing each other. There are so many conflicts.
But everyone has a different story.
We're already struggling, and we can't
Shell,
even make our own
which
voices
says it's
heard.
losing
How are we going to stop? So we have
the market.
to come together.
Can Burkina recognize the Palestinian state?
in Northeast Africa.
the Horn of Africa.
And it's so
Okay. All right, we are back. Something happened. I don't know what went on there, but anyway, I'm glad we are back on. So I think I did something that I shouldn't have touched. But well, okay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Frank. I am your host. This is the Revolutionary Repatriation Educational Lecture Series, aspect of WCC. Today's topic says the United States government got on its knees begging the Shahid nation, begging the AES nations, begging Abraham Traore, begging Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And the next topic we're going to touch on. It says France sold Equatoria Guinea multi-million dollar mansion in France. France sold Equatorial Guinea multi-million dollar mansion in France. And what Equatorial Guinea did? Guess what? Equatorial Guinea took France to the RCJ. And guess what the RCJ did? The RCJ ruled in favor of France. And I love that. And I will tell you why I love it. I love it not because France won the case. No, that's not why I love it. But I love it not because France won the case, but I love it. I love it not because the United Nations ruled in favor of France, but I love it. I love it not because the United Nations ruled in favor of France, but I love it. I am not happy because Equatorial Guinea lost the case against France, but I love it. Let's look at the first article. Let me see. Let's look at the first article. You know, sometimes the reason why we bring some of these things, we know sometimes we African, we are dumb. The dumbest. Dumb. We are like turtle. You have to put fire behind our back, right? And then that fire began to burn the back of the turtle before the turtle move. That's how we African behave. Sometimes we see the fire coming, but we don't really care because we want to feel the heat of that fire. Then before we know, that fire is very intense. But at the initial stage, we never know that fire is intense. But the heat from the fire, when the fire comes close, then before we know the intensity of that fire. That's how we black people are. We are dumb. We never learn from experience. Black people, we never learn from experience. We always want to learn when the actual thing happens. And that's why sometimes we keep talking about some of these things. But at the end of the day, African will not still learn. Some will not learn. Yesterday, the last time we checked, you know, let me say this. You know, as an African, as a black man, you would never have imagined that it will be the US, it will be Europe, the European, after what all they have done against Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, after all what they have done to support jihadi terrorists, after all what they have done, they made their so-called organization, I don't like to call their name, ECOWA, to go against Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, to put sanction on them. After all what Europe, the US, they have done with their so-called organization, I don't like to mention their name, AU, told them to put sanction on them so that they can give up the nation to Europe and America to put their puppet government in, so that Europe and America can continue to loot and steal the uranium of the African resources. After they failed, they came back and told ECOWA, that for nothing organization. They told AU, that for nothing organization. They told them, we are going to support you guys. The US and Europe told them, we are going to support you guys with weapons. All we need you to do is mobilize, so that you can go and wage war on another African nation and kill Africans. We will support you with arm and ammunition. But with the visions of those leaders, swiftly, in no time, they were able to collaborate and said, no, Burkina Faso cannot fight by herself. Mali cannot fight by herself. Niger cannot fight by herself. We have to collaborate. We have to come together and have one united army of the Shahid. And then wait for these so-called Negro, these so-called slaves to come so we can slaughter them. That's how ECOWA fall back. That's how AU fall back. And AU, ECOWA did not fall back because of that. They fall back because they saw the intensity of African, both home and abroad, who said, we are ready to join the Shahid army. And we dare any African army to come there, we will slaughter you people too as well. And that will be the end. And it did not end there. They said to them, you so-called African leaders, your wife, your kid, your children, anywhere they are, they will not be safe. Say you want to come and die for the white man. You want to come and die for Europe. So you don't want to enjoy your resources, but you want for the European who enslave you, colonize you, destroy your democratic and revolutionary leader, kill them directly or indirectly. You have not yet still learned stupidity. That's how these stupid African ECOWA and AU leaders, stupid, idiot, fall back. They told their slave master, at this point, I don't think we can make it. Because just how you supported Ukraine and spent billions of dollars and Ukrainians died, and Ukraine is destroyed. With your support of army ammunition, we will not win this war. Africa will be destroyed. And you will sit there and say ECOWA is fighting for Africans. How can ECOWA fight for Africans when ECOWA is killing Africans? Does it make sense? And you will sit on your media and say AU is fighting for Africans. How can AU fight for Africans when AU is destroying Africans and wasting African blood? Are you afraid to say ECOWA will be fighting for Europe and America? Were you afraid to say we're going to be fighting for Europe and America? You know, after all that, Europe is crumbling. And the next, the United States going to follow. Empire got to fall. It is the reality. What then happened? After Europe and America have called locomotion or chaos, put African heads together, right? Then Europe and America then passed behind Africa or African leaders. To the extent these so-called ECWA or AU African leaders, they do not call Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso when they are doing things. They don't call them. But here is the United States. Instead of these stupid, dumb African leaders, go and make peace with the Shahid and tell them we are sorry. What we did against you, it was wrong. Instead of Tinubu doing that, instead of Ouattara doing that, instead of these stupid African leaders doing that, they're not doing it. But it is the U.S. that is going, making peace with Abraham Traore, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. It is France that is begging those people. We beg you. Let's look at the article. Let's read this article here. All right, let's read this article. Let's read the article. I'm telling you. So, yeah, that's true, man. That's true, man. Truth be told, sometimes we are indeed the dumpiest. Exactly. You are with me, my brother. You are with me. You are with me. Stupidest. If there's another adjective, we can even use it. This is the article. Washington, D.C. is on knee begging the people they call jointer. It's not yet serious. It's going to be serious. It's going to be serious. It's not yet serious. Washington, D.C. make military aid. Washington, D.C. make military aid overthrown to Shahid. August 25th or 26th, 2025. Let's read this article. Very good article. Somebody is begging somebody. Woo! No. Let's do this. Oh. I have to go back and find this article. The way it's looking now, I can. I didn't want this. All right, hold on, folks. Let me do this. All right, let me see here. Be with me, folks. I'll be back. Let me look for this article. Something happened. I don't like the way it went, but I'll find it. Okay. I don't like how the other one happened, so let's see here. No, this is not it. That's the article, but all right, let me see here. Okay, it should be this. All right, I got it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out here. and then go by here. All right, so I got it now. So let me pull it out. All right, very good. Okay, so let's read from here, right? Let's read from here. So they are using the word, how they call it, jointer, but where I see jointer, I'm going to use it as the government, all right? Because those guys are not jointer. Those guys are leader. In fact, they are democratic leader. That's what we call democracy. Democracy in this modern time, right? Democracy does not like the term elections, right? The term election does not define democracy in this contemporary time. The term election does not define democracy. The term election does not make democracy a perfect government. All right? Okay. So just because you have an election, it's not democracy. So what we see in the Sahel nation is democracy because we see the people support. Democracy in this current time, as we are seeing with Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, democracy actually means the people support. Democracy is not defined, a government by the people, of the people, for the people. No, that's BS. In this modern time, in this time, democracy is defined, right, as support of the people. Support of the people and the work of the people. Support of the people and the work, the interest of the people. Not government by the people, of the people, for the people. No. Government by the people and support by the people and work of the people. Work of the people, interest. Okay? Not a Western BS definition. Now, let's continue here. Let's continue here. Okay? Now, under President Donald Trump, the United States has reset relation with West African or with West Africa leader. Like I said, I'm not going to use military. They are not military. They are democratic leader because they are government for the people interest. Government working for the people, not a puppet government. All right? And then the people in return give their support to the government and they all work together. All right? That's the definition of democracy. Not frequent elections. No. That does not make a democratic. That does not make you, that does not make you a democratic nation. Frequent election. You can have frequent election, right? And it is infiltrated. It is fraudulent. All right? Let's continue here. Let's continue. It is the U.S. that is begging the Sahel nation now. Just like France have gone there, just like Europe have gone there. All of them have gone there, but it's not going to work. This is redemption time. Let's continue here. Under President Donald J. Trump, the United States has reset relation with West Africa greatest leaders on a natural back scratching basis, right? Let's say, sorry, on a mutual back scratching basis. Battering help fighting jihadi for the Sahel region money reaches, experts say, right? So now, the new tactics of the West, before them, they brought the Bible. They say their God, the white Jesus, was better than the black Jesus, right? They say our black Jesus was never going to take us to heaven, but their white Jesus, their white Pope, will take us to heaven. And as the story goes, they told us to pray. As we pray, they store our mineral resources, right? And then as we pray, then they kill our visionary leader that had to kill Sankara, Amika Cabral, Lumumba, and the rest go on, right? in recent time, they killed Gaddafi, right? As we pray, they kind of stealing your resources, bribing your leaders. And then the one that refuse to be brave, they plot against them. You see what they did to Abraham Traore, the Shahid nations, Esimi Geita, Tiani, they are trying to kill them. They have supported jihadist activities in the region. While we still praying, let us fast and pray. Let us fast and pray for Israel. Oh yes, they get all stupidity. Taking 40 days, 40 night prayers for Israel, for Europe. But you can never take that 40 days and 40 nights for Africa and for Africans. So, like I was saying, they brought that the white Jesus, and they said the black Jesus was not good. Then we took the white Jesus. But the white Jesus have taken us nowhere. When we practice, the time we practice the black Jesus, we prosper on the African continent. The time we practice the black Jesus, our governments, our kings, our queens, they rule in our interests. The time we practice the black Jesus, the time we believe the black Jesus, we maintain our goal and our diamond. The time we practice the black Jesus. The time we practice the black Jesus, Africa have gold reserve. So when the European came, the first thing, they store our gold. They want to reserve it. They store it in their treasure before they start digging. It was the gold reserve that they saw. They said, oh, so that's how Africa reached. So they took those first. Then before they came by in the 1884 Berlin Conference, after they developed Africa, then they start mining our gold. But before the 1884, what they did, our gold reserve, they took it. When we were practicing black Jesus, when we believed in black Jesus, when we believe in our gods, we did these things. Life was like a paradise on the African continent. It wasn't called Africa, it was called the Garden of Eden or Akubaland. But when white Jesus came, we threw our white Jesus away. Poverty. There was no poverty on the African continent when we practiced black Jesus before European came with their white Jesus. But when they came, poverty, chaos, hatred. When we practiced black Jesus, there were so many traps like we have on the African continent today. But those traps, there was harmony, there was peace. They traded among themselves because those traps were like a city. They were a kingdom by itself. And those traps went to another kingdom, went to another state, and they traded among themselves. But when the black Jesus came, traps became an issue. Then traps start going against traps. Conflict, ethnicity, start going against all ethnicity. Meanwhile, we traded among ourselves. We make businesses among ourselves. Interconnectivity trade, we did that. But when white Jesus came, they went away. And we still believe in white Jesus, that we'll still go to heaven and see the white man there. On earth. You know what? On earth. If the white Jesus does not like you on earth, why you think in heaven the white Jesus going to love you there? If you have prayed to the white Jesus for centuries, and that white Jesus did not help you, why you think you will go to heaven? Then the poor you will go inherit heaven when white Jesus is there for their white counterparts. Oh, they will just give you the white heaven. Stupidity. But let's continue here. Let's continue. So they gave for the Bible. We took the white Jesus. Then they came back. They say your culture not good. They brought their culture, right? Then you see men and men start licking one another butt. Women licking one another ass. Then we say that's the better culture. But meanwhile, those things were not good. We said that's the right thing. Then they came by, they said, oh no, this food cannot grow on your soil. This plant cannot grow on your soil. You know what? We Europeans will grow the African food and bring African food to you. Then they call it Algoa, American, African, what. Then African people stop producing their food. Then they start producing food from Europe. Then at the end of the day, when you tell America, no, America says, then we ain't got food for you, we sanction you. Then you start crying. Oh, we ain't got grain. No grain coming from Ukraine. No grain coming from US. No grain this, no grain that, no grain that. Stupidity. We ain't learned yet. We are so stupid. We are so dumb. We are so ignorant. When the Chinese are taking your soil, taking it to China, the Chinese men that is producing rice for you. But when they're taking your soil, are putting it in ship to China, and then using your soil to grow grains, and then bring it back to you. The richest continent in the world. Anything you plant, it grow. But the white man come and tell you, say, apple can grow in Africa, and you believe that apple cannot grow in Africa. Stupidity. The bill can come and tell you, oh no, we want to come and produce GMO food for you. And then you want to agree. Can't you grow your own food? Oh man, African people, we love to be down. We love to be looked down upon. We love it, right? Let's continue here. While Joe Biden was in office, the U.S. suspended most of the development and military aid sent to Burkina Faso. You see, this is what the white men do. When they control you, when you allow them to control you and provide for you, you will never progress. You will never progress. You will never move on. You will be stuck. Because the day you say you want to move on, they say, oh, then we can't feed you. We can't feed you. We can't give you this. How can you depend on a man? How can you rely on a man for your progress, for your determination, for your safety? When the reality here is, because of your condition, that's why this man is progressing. That's why Malcolm X said, who lied to you that the white man come and save you? Who lied to you America come and save you? Who lied to you that Europe come and save you? Who lied to you? Who lied to you? First of all, who put you in those predicaments? Who created them? Who created terrorists? Who created jihadi? Who supported the Arab Spring to kill Gaddafi? Who CIA killed Patrick Lumumba? Who CIA killed Thomas Sankara? Who CIA killed King? Who CIA killed Malcolm X? Who CIA killed Amilcar Cabral? Steve Biko? Who CIA killed those people? Were those people bad leaders? Who nation put sanction on Gaddafi? Or Robert Mugabe? So how can you depend on these people? Let's continue here. Joe Biden was in office. The United States suspended most of the development and military aid sent to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger in the wake of the rush of coup that brought these great leaders. Like I said, I'm not going to call them jointer, but that's what it's put here. That brought these great leaders, that brought Africa's greatest leader of our time in power. in the three restive countries between 2020 and 2023. Trump, on the other hand, returned to the White House, has shifted the U.S. away from the stand as part of a wide pivot in Washington Africa foreign policy. In Washington Africa foreign policy, in an attempt to counter Russia, in an attempt to counter Russia, in an attempt to counter Russia and China influence on the continent. In an attempt to counter Russia and China influence on the African continent. So the truth is, the US is not really coming to help Africans. They are coming because they feed their interest on the African continent have been tampered with. Their interest is failing. Their interest is drifting. Selfish interest. Dehumanizing interest. Because if it was not selfish, why would they want to go to Russia? If it was never selfish, why would they want to go to China? If it was never dehumanizing, why would they want to go to China? Why would they want to go to Russia? Under no circumstances. They will want to. But you see, the US is telling Africans, right? Give all your mineral resources, then we will come and fight the jihadi. We will come and kill the hair of the terrorists. You know that if that happened, but I know these leaders of the Shahid, they are so wise. They are the smartest leaders of the world, of the universe, as we speak. So they will not agree. Because if they agree to this nonsense, this rubbish that is being put in here, this will be the new trend. What's going to happen here is they might kill the hair of the terrorist. But who created the hairs of the terrorist? They will kill the hairs of the terrorists and then create another terrorist, because that will be a continuation for the resources to be given to them. So they will support and create another terrorist and then come back again and say, hey, listen, we can sign another deal for another 5 years. So within 5 years, we will kill this terrorist again, this hair of the terrorists. Then you sign another 5-year contract deal with them. Then within 5 years, they kill all the terrorists. Then when the 5-year contract finishes, they create another terrorist. Washington DC, you the class. Washington DC, you the class. You think say you be smart, you be mumu. You be mumu. Trump returned to the White House. Trump returned to the White House has shifted the U.S. away from the stand of Biden as part of a wider pivot in Washington Africa foreign policy, and in an attempt to counter Russia and China influence on the African continent. They are not really coming to help us. They are coming because they feel China have eaten their plate. China have taken their spot. Russia have taken their spot. They feel China is giving better deal or better option. They feel Russia has given better deal or better options. Nelson Mandela said, your enemy is not my enemies. Just how our enemies, African enemy is not your enemies. Your enemy is not our enemy and should never be our enemy and will never be our enemies. Let's continue here. So they say, and China influence on the African continent, right? Trade, not aid. Trade, not aid. So what Trump is saying, what Washington DC is saying, trade and not aid. So trade your resources with us, and then we will give you freedom. That's what simply means. That's what simply means. That because African, you can't fight for yourself. So give all your resources, and we will give you freedom. Give all your resources, we will come and fight the terrorists. Give all your resources, we will come and kill the head of the terrorist. First of all, who support the head of the terrorist? Who gave the head of the terrorist ammunition? So this will be the new trend. They will kill the terrorists, the head, but the ammunition stay coming. and they will bring another head, and their presence will be in Africa because they were once upon a time they were there. The French military was in the region, the African was in the region, the Canadian military in the region, the Russian, not the Russian, the German military in the region. That was about 4 or 5 military in our region. Basically, that was the war. Basically, that was the United Nations there. But they could not defeat the terrorists or the jihadi. So are you telling me the terrorists have weapon more than African? The terrorists have weapon more than how do you call it? The German army there. The terrorists have weapon more than the Canadian. The terrorists have weapon more than the English. That was there. They were supporting these people. Let's continue here. The State Department top official for African Affairs told an audience in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, in May, because Abidjan is still a French puppet country. In recent week, several other senior American figures, stupid, dumb African leaders. You see, America is passing behind you people after they put your hair, knock your hair with the AES. Now they are passing behind you people, going there and begging. In recent week, several other senior American figures have paid visit to the capital of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, which have all been struggling to root out jihadi link to Al Qaeda or the Islamic State group for more than a decade. First of all, the US failed us when they were there, African. The French military or government failed us when they were there. The German military failed us when they were there. Canadian failed us when they were there. Because in fact, they were supporting the terrorists. And now they are not there. The terrorist is cashing half time. To the extent there have been trucks that have been seized while they were trying to smuggle ammunition in Ouagadougou. But the security system is tough. Let's read. In earlier July, Radolf Adler, a security and counter-terrorism advisor to Trump, visited Mali to offer the American solution for the unrest. So he visited Mali to offer the American solution for the unrest. The American solution is give all your uranium so that we can power Europe and America. And in return, we will come and fight the terrorists. But who support the terrorists? Who support the Al Qaeda? Who support the ISIS? Now listen to what America said. We have the necessary equipment, the intelligence, and the forces to stand up to this menace. If Mali decide to work with us, the US, Europe, we will know what to do. You see, they speak in code. If Mali decide to work with Europe or the US, we will know what to do. Because they will know what to do because of what? Because they control the terrorists. They gave ammunition to the terrorists. Who gave ammunition to the Arab Spring to destroy and kill Libya, along with NATO? They're the one. You heard it. If you work with us, we will know what to do. Adler was quoted as saying by the security, by the country state newspaper. Several days later, William B. Stevens, the State Department Deputy Assistant Secretary for West Africa. This is an American, all right, secretary for the State Department of America. So he's not a State Department for West Africa, for America, but in Africa. The question then here is, do we have an African who work for Africa in America here for the title State Department Deputy State, or how they call it, State Department Deputy Assistant Secretary for Africa in the US, for Africa in Europe? No, it's not. So all these people are there in support of their government, but yet then they are there, they are the ones supporting the terrorists. They are the ones making plane to land and plane pickup. Likewise, raise the possibility of private American investment in the anti-jihadi fight to an audience in the Malian capital, Bamako, after stop off in Ouagadougou in Naomi. Washington offered to kill, listen to this, folks. Washington offered to kill the leader of jihadi group in exchange. Washington offered to kill the leader of jihadi group in exchange. First of all, if this war is a global society, if this war is a global village, if this war we all work together, why can't you go and kill the enemy? But we have to give him resources first. We have to give him resources. Then before going to kill the leader of the jihadi group, when you are the one creating the leaders, when you are the one creating the jihadi, when you are the one supporting, funding the jihadi, when you are the one funding the Arab Spring, and today the Arab Spring is the one in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So we should give you the resources. So you see the language in here. Washington, D.C. offer to kill the leader of jihadi group. Washington, D.C. offer to kill the leader of jihadi group in exchange for access, to lithium and gold for American businesses. For American businesses. So this will be the new American foreign policy. They will come in your country, create chaos, create Al-Qaeda, create terrorists, create jihadi, create bandits, create gang groups. And then the government will not be able to do anything. And then they will now come here and say, hey, listen, give all your gold. We have solution in exchange to your freedom. This is slave mentality, folks. In exchange, give all your resources. In exchange, we will come and kill the leader of the terrorists, the leader of the gang, the leader of the ISIS, the Al-Qaeda. Meanwhile, they are the ones supporting the leader of the Al-Qaeda. Then after you make a deal in 5 years, okay, in 5 years, we will kill the leader. So they will be there, timing you, and then when the 5 years is about to finish, getting to the 4 years, right? Then boom, they kill that leader. Then into the 5 years, they create another leader, support the Al-Qaeda. They sign new contract with you again. They say, but we just killed this leader though. But these people don't want to go. You know what? Let's sign another 5-year deal. Give all your resources. That will be the new trend. So, folks, but I believe in an AES nation, they will not do it. They will not sign this deal. They will not agree to that. And let me say this, it's not just because of the resources as well. What they are fighting for here is, the truth is, if Africa, you can't build your own military, you are going nowhere. Because you will never, ever in this world have an independent nation, have an independent continent if you don't have army to protect that nation, to protect that continent. It will never happen. Never. Why you think the war? Why you think America is parading her army? Why you think Russia parading her army? Why you think China parading her army? Why you think North Korea parading her army and putting out their nuclear arsenal? Why you think they're doing that? Because no way the US would not. You see, let me tell you this. You see, China, Russia, North Korea, the US, these nations, they will not fight each other. What they will do here is they will use another nation to fight each other. And that's what happened to Liberia during the 15 year civil war in Liberia. It was this so-called international body or nation that fought in Liberia. That's what they're going to do. The US is not going to fight China directly because you know the casualties you're going to face. The US is not going to fight Russia directly. The US is not going to fight North Korea directly. And likewise, Russia is not going to fight the US directly. China is not going to fight the US directly. North Korea is not going to fight the US directly. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because the US know what North Korea is depending on, what Russia is depending on, what China is depending on. And China know what the US is depending on, vice versa. They know. So they will not fight each other directly. It's not going to happen. But they are going to use a neutral ground, a stupid nation, another stupid leader, another stupid continent who is saying I agree. Then there will not this leader will come and fight and destroy that place, destroy that people. That's what they're going to do. And that's what they did to Ukraine. And the US tried to do it with Taiwan. Knowing very well Taiwan can never in any way fight how they call it or China. But they wanted to do it to China. I mean Taiwan. Even the US cannot fight China. The United States cannot fight China. They can. So they want to use Taiwan to fight China. While the Chinese will be, the Taiwanese will be fighting their own brothers and sisters, then the United States send an army nation, right? And then they just destroy Taiwan for nothing. That's what they try to do. Let me say this. US, Europe, and the reason I'm being specific, I'm not talking about Russia and China, is because of this. Because US and Europe been on the African continent since decades, century upon century. Russia was never there. In fact, it was Russia that came on the side of Africa to fight for independence. And in some era, China also assisted other African nations to fight for independence. So the reason why I'm saying the US and Europe, because they've been there, never helped us. They, in fact, they have been the cause of the issue we face. So they will never help us. They will never be there for us. The freedom we are fighting for today, who caused it? NATO nations, Europe and America. The demise that we are going to, the calamity, they're the one. So why you think they coming fight for you, or they come and liberate you, or they come and do what? They are not. If someone is coming to help you, do you have to exchange your resources? Look at what it said. Give all your resources, then we will come and kill the heir of the Taliban. Are you stupid? No, we don't have to give you our resources. Then we will work with those who want to support us with ammunition, who want to support us, build our army, who want to support us, become self-sufficient and fight for ourselves and defend our homeland and defend our continent. Those are the people we'll work with. We are tired with that paternalistic ideas. You should be the one to come and fight for us, and then we give you this. You should be the one to come and dictate to us, then we give you this. We are tired with that bullshit. I'm not going to say BSF, bullshit. We are tired of it. Because it has taken us nowhere. It has made us dependent on you. Then be independent. We are now looking for people who will come and give us the technology and we bear our military too. This is what the United States is afraid of. Because, let me tell you this. I'm not saying China is perfect or Russia is perfect. But with the friendship, African friendship with Russia and China, Africa can build her own army and her own military and her own nuclear plant. But with the relationship with Russia, with the US, Europe, with Africa, Africa will never build military might. Africa will never build her own army. Africa will never build any nuclear plant. Never. They've been there centuries, decades upon decades, looting, stealing our resources, and then supporting terrorists. Because it's a business for them. So this is what they are afraid of. They want China and Russia to come to Africa. So when they say, oh, China is this, look, the US have no moral right to tell Africans who is in their interest. Because the last time we checked, we have evidence upon evidence dating back from the 1400s. Dating back from the 1400s. So the US is not in any moral standing to tell Africa who is in their best interest. Europe is not in any moral standing to tell Africa who is in their best interest. Because if we are to explain between the US, Russia, China, Europe, who is in Africa's best interest, US will not be there. Because anything the US do in Africa is in her interest. It's not because of humanity or mutual. No, because if it was not in your best interest, the US will not be going around putting sanctions on African nations. When African nations say, no, US, your deal is bad. They will not be going around threatening African nation or African leader putting the sanction on it or manipulating the election or sending letter. I mean, the United States will sit down and write a letter to an African head of state to step down. Are you kidding me? You call that friendship? You call that business partner? Right? Have any African leader write a letter to any American leader and say, step down? So we got evidence upon evidence. So when we speak, we speak. So between Russia, China, or Europe, with African relationship, oh man, Russia will win a vote over US. China will win a vote over US and Europe because you have horrible, horrible, horrible relationship with Africa. Horrible, inhumane. You are never to be trusted. Never. We trust you. Because each time we trust, I don't even want to go there. Dating back from 1400, we can trust you. All the way to 2025, we can trust you. And we will never trust you. I don't know how you're going to build a relationship with Africa. I don't know. But if you build it, so be it. That will be good. I don't know how you're going to build it. I don't know. I don't know how you're going to make it right with Africa. I don't know. Europe, I don't know how you're going to make it right with Africa. I don't know. But if you do it, so be it. But I don't know. With AP, I don't know. Maybe. With MFP, I don't know. Maybe. But I don't know. So don't blame China and Russia. Don't blame them. Blame yourself. Take responsibility of yourself. What you have done. You have done nothing good on the African continent but chaos, death, destructions, blood on your hand. You are terrible when it comes to Africa. You are very terrible. You are inhumane when it comes to Africa. You are devil. The Bible speaks when it comes to Africa. I don't know how you're going to fix that relationship. If it fix, so be it. If it don't fix, I don't know. It's up to you. But you are terrible. You are horrible. You are nasty. You are inhumane. You are not human being. So fix it. Stop blaming China and Russia about their relationship with Africa. Africa is a continent bigger than the US. Africa is a continent bigger than Europe. Africa is not a baby to come and tell Africa who is in your interest, who is not in your interest. Who's supposed to discuss that? Who's supposed to discuss that with the horrible history you have with Africans? Who's supposed to discuss that? Who's supposed to tell who is in our interest? Europe? US? You have no moral standing. You have no moral standing. So when we make decisions, don't blame us. Don't take your anger to China. Don't take your frustration to Russia. Don't do it. And the more you do that, the more you will be putting yourself in a bad predicament. The more you do that, because with this generation, we already know who you are. Take responsibility of your fault. If you want to make it right, make it right. But stop going to African, telling African to trade with you, to give you resources, and then you do this. You're making it worse. You're making it worse. Start going to African, telling them, say, we will bring American experts. Don't even do it. Don't even do it, because we got options now. We got a lot of experts. We African, we are experts now. We are experts. You are no better than a black man. You are no better than African. You are not better. What you do, we do it. So stop going to the African continent, telling the African people, the white man bringing the experts. Stop doing that. We will not listen to you. It's not going to work. Start going to the African continent, telling the African people, the American or the European technology is better than the Russian technology. It's better than the Chinese technology. Stop doing that. It's not going to work. We don't believe that your technology is better than the Russian. We don't believe your technology is better than the Chinese. Because we just saw the Chinese displacing their height, the Russian displacing their height. If your technology was better than the Russian, then by now the Ukrainians have won that war a long time. If your technology was better than the Russian, then by now you won that war against Russia, because you fighting Russia. It is the Europe, the NATO nation fighting Russia. So if your technology was so better than Russia, by now you won a war. So stop telling all these things that we decide for ourselves. Find a different way that you think you can make it right with African and the African continent. Find a different way. But stop going to Africans. Stop going to African nations, telling them the white men have the better options. You have the better technology. You have the better military. After all, you've been there before the Chinese came. You've been there before the Russian came. Stop it. Your embassy been there before the Chinese embassy in most countries. Your embassy been there before the Russian embassy in most African countries. And still, you did not deliver. And then today you want to come to us. Listen to us. Listen to this. Let me show you something here.
Not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot.
Chinese scholar Victor Gao recently revealed something shocking. The DF-61 ICBM can carry 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. 61 warheads in a single missile that could make it the deadliest ICBM on Earth.
We call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes. and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. China will not fire the first shot, but China will not allow you to fire the second shot.
Chinese scholar Victor Gao recently revealed something shocking. The DF-61 ICBM can carry 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. 61 warheads in a single missile that could make it the deadliest ICBM on Earth.
We call it 61 because it can contain 60 nuclear warheads plus 1 hydrogen bomb. And that ICBM can cover every corner of the world in less than 20 minutes and destroy any target in any corner of the world without any possibility of being intercepted. If you want to impose nuclear war on China, you will be wiped out by nuclear war. China will not.
Okay, you saw that. Now, this was not in defense of China, all right? I'm just showing you something, the reason why Europe and America, they are shaking when they see China-Russia relationship with Africa. Because in 1970, the Chinese was not like that. Just 1970, when even the Ghanaian GDP, Ghana, just little Ghana GDP was more than China in the 1970s. So the Chinese does not have the resources that Africa have. So Europe and America or NATO, they are shaking. In their mind, and it is true, it is possible. The relationship between China and Africa in 10 years' time, because just 1970, China was nowhere. China was like a terror country. They were struggling. I mean, nothing. But from 1970 to 2025, you see what I said? Look, the U.S., the United States know she can now fight China directly. And you heard what the Chinese representative said. China will not fire the first shot. We will wait. Whosoever that will fire the first shot, we will come for you. And in less than 20 minutes, you'll be destroyed, you'll be wiped out. Imagine, they know it. Imagine Africa that have all these vast resources, these nastiest resources that can produce anything powerful, deadly, is on the African continent. And naturally, Africans are gifted. Naturally, the black man is gifted when it comes to technology, when it comes to creation. Naturally, the black man is gifted. And then you allow the Chinese, the Russian, North Korea, Iran collaborate with Africa. They will be more deadliest than China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran. That is their fear. That is their fear. So that's why they will come to you and say, oh, China is there, China is there. No, China is not doing. Now, like I said, this is not about promoting China or Russia because they all have interest. They all have interest. But the question here is, why should even the US come to this point? Why should Europe come to this point? Why should Europe be struggling on the African continent today? These are the questions they need to be asking themselves to try to make it right, if they can make it right. Why should the US be fighting on the African continent today? Why should US even go to Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to talk to them and become a problem? They should go back to that Washington, D.C. Because the last time we checked, we saw one of the congressmen called Mark Vance or who, saying that they should take their warship, their war machine, go to Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and bomb the place and slaughter them. They should take the U.S. Navy, their warship, their aircraft, and go and bomb. Those that were their wars. And you expect Africans to trust you when you are saying all these horrible things? When you sat there in your Congress and said in 5 years' time, Sudan should be down, Libya should be down, and you made sure in our 5 years you mentioned all these nations are down. You say we should trust you? You never said in 5 years' time Libya should be built, Sudan should be built, Liberia should be built. In fact, you destroy Liberia, you carry water Liberia, you give up ammunition, and we kill each other. You destroy the country. And you want us to believe you? Over who? You have no moral right to tell Africans who to believe in or who to choose. If there's a way to make it right with Africa, do it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but do it.
Beg for minerals like a bunch of homeless bums. They sit around, they go to Africa and beg for minerals like a bunch of homeless bums. They sit around, they slander the black man on their conservative media publications, right? Their conservative media political commentators slander the black man with impunity. Then they go to Africa and get on their knees and beg for minerals like a bunch of beggars, like a bunch of homeless people. Please, can I have some minerals? Please, please. A bunch of bums. Now, anyway, let's get into it. Take a look up on the screen. In early July, Rudolph Atala, a security and counterterrorism advisor to President Trump, visited Mali to offer the American solution for the unrest. He said, "We have the necessary equipment, the intelligence, and the forces to stand up to the menace. If Mali decides to work with us, we'll know what to do." Right? Now, keep in mind, these individuals were the same ones who ignited the unrest to begin with, right? They were the same ones who, in concert with France and the UK and the NATO forces as a whole, they're the ones who toppled the regime in Libya, which led to the destabilization of the entire region, right? Just so they could get access to the mineral wealth in Libya, right? So the reason why there's terrorism in the region is because of your destabilization and destruction. But now you want to come back around 10, 15 years later. I have the American solution, right? Just give me some minerals and I got the solution. Listen, man, a bunch of con artists, a bunch of deceptive individuals. You were the main actors destabilizing the region, but now I have the solution, right? We have the military solution. We have the solution. All we need is minerals. That's the same thing you told the rebels in Libya. We have the solution. We can help you. All we need is the oil. Listen, man, like I said, these guys been going around screaming 1350. Now they want minerals, man. Listen, you guys have no shame. You guys have no shame. And trust me, when black men are able to get on one accord from continent to continent across oceans, it's over for y'all. Once black men in one part of the world are able to correspond with black men in the other part of the world against you in concert, it's over for y'all. The way you've been slandering black men in the media for the past few weeks, to be honest, there should be zero American companies getting any money out of Africa right now. Zero. That's how I feel. That's how I truly feel. That way, listen, I guarantee all that propaganda will stop. All that propaganda will stop. Let American companies start getting their licenses revoked on the continent. I guarantee all that propaganda will stop. Now, let's continue. Washington offered to kill the leaders of the militant groups in exchange for access to lithium and gold for American businesses. Mali is among Africa's top producers of gold and lithium, a key component in the electric car batteries necessary for the transition to low-carbon energy economy in the age of climate change. Burkina Faso likewise possesses rich veins of gold, while Niger's uranium deposits make the desert nation among the world's top exporters of the radioactive metal. Now, regardless if President Donald Trump wants to come to Africa to beg for minerals, I don't think he's going to be successful. Because President Assimi Goïta is an excellent negotiator, right? When it comes to defending the sovereignty of his people, he's an excellent negotiator, right? When everybody was going around thinking, oh man, Russia is coming to take over, come to find out, do you know that Russia hasn't been able to secure a single mining concession in the country? They came as security contractors. They got paid for their work up front directly, zero mining concessions. And that was that. Clean business, right? Clean business. So I don't think that President Donald Trump is going to fare any better, right? Take a look up on the screen. Recent reports from late August 2025 confirmed that the Wagner Group ultimately secured 0 mining concessions in Mali as payment for its services, right? The military government blocked Wagner from obtaining mining licenses, and the group's attempts to enter the mining sector were limited. An investigative report by the Century found that Mali's president, Assimi Goïta, personally blocked Wagner from receiving any mining concessions as payment for their services. So, like I said, the Russians couldn't even secure any mining concessions in exchange for their services, right? So President Trump trying to come with, oh yeah, I got security for minerals. When it comes to President Assimi Goïta, I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work. I think he'll more likely pay you up front for your services, or he's gonna come back with a counter offer that's gonna be more beneficial to him, you know, because like I said, the Russians couldn't secure any mining concessions. And like I said, currently right now, Barrick Gold, the multinational, they going through it. They getting smacked around. So, you know, like I said, if you're going to come do business, come do honest business. Stop with this extractive, oh, let me get the minerals for cheap. No, brother, no. Because when the Russians came in and listen, they said, listen, we're going to build a refinery. We're going to build the largest refinery in the region. See, that's good business. Stop with this old school business model of extracting the resources for cheap. No, brother, it's not 1995 anymore. You got to get with the times, man. No, we're not going to give you our minerals for cheap. No, stop begging for minerals like a bum. Take a look up on the screen. Mali takes control of one of Africa's largest gold mine and launches its own refinery. Mali will hold a 62% stake in the first national gold refinery. Now, like I said, the Russians, they could not secure any mining concessions, right? But we can do beneficial business. You know, 6238, let's build the largest gold refinery in the region. See, that's good business. That's good business because not only are you able to refine your own gold domestically, but also the gold from neighboring countries, the gold from Ghana, the gold from Burkina, the gold from Ivory Coast, right? The gold from, you know, even I heard Nigeria probably got some gold, right? The gold from the Congo, right? The gold from Sudan, the gold from all over the continent. I believe the refinery is going to be able to refine up to 200 tons of gold, right? So that leaves a lot of room to not only refine your entire gold supply domestically, but also the gold supply of neighboring countries in the region that can help Mali become one of the largest gold refining hubs on the continent, right? So that is good business. See, when it comes to Trump, listen, President Trump, you need to come with a better offer than that. The Russians came with a gold refinery, 62-38 split. What are you coming with? You have to come with something better than that. Right? You cannot come with some nonsense. Oh, give me security for minerals. Give me the minerals for cheap. No, that's
Israel, the Zionists, CIA, and Saudi Arabia are the three devils that need to be put back in a very small box. So we're essentially looking at the U.S. deep state wants a war with North Korea and a war in the Middle East and a war with China over the Spratly Islands. Goldman Sachs desperately needs a war in the Middle East to drive the price of oil up, or they're going to lose billions and billions of dollars on their bad bet. ISIS was created with money from Saudi Arabia, trading from CIA, and weapons.
So this is why we can't trust the US or NATO nation. Like the individual said, the United States created ISIS, right? There's 408. So that's why they say, if you work with us, we have the solution. We know what to do. They spoke in code. We have the solution. We know what to do. No US. If you want to keep supporting terrorists, keep supporting them. Those that want to be terrorists, they will be dying. Because gradually, Africans, we're not going to rely on anyone. We're going to build our military, our army, and gradually, it's going to be dangerous. Like Abraham Traore said, it's going to come a time. ISIS or Al Qaeda or terrorists, you find yourself in Africa, it's like how they call it? What he used? Suicide. It's like you'll be committing a suicide to be a terrorist in Africa. And this is what we believe, and this is what we stand for. And that's why we don't want you telling us we're coming to fight for you. You have the solution. You know what to do. You spoke in code. So we already know you are the one supporting the terrorists. We already know you are the one funding the terrorists. That's why you say you know what to do. You have the solution. So keep what to do. Keep your solution. We will make Africa a suicide area for terrorists. And gradually, that's how we're going to build. And that's how we're going to improve on where we need to improve to defend ourselves. We have to be our own defender. Not the United States telling us we are your defender, and at the same time telling us we know what to do. We have the solution. No, we want to have the solution now. We want to know what to do. We want to be the one to slaughter terrorists, and also to slaughter those that are funding the terrorists, and also to slaughter the place the funding coming from. We want to slaughter those people. They play the funding coming from to fund terrorists against Africans. Those are the people also we want to slaughter. Those are the people also we want to have solution for them. We want to know what to do. Not just the terrorists, but they play the funding coming from to watch the terrorists. That's the place too we want to slaughter them too.
From the Pentagon. ISIS is a wholly owned subsidiary of the U.S. deep state. So from the end of World War II, the United States of America has institutionalized evil, and the U.S. government has been a wholly controlled subsidiary of Wall Street. Now, Congress is not only bribed, it's also being blackmailed. NSA has been blackmailing, spying on, and blackmailing U.S. politicians and judges for the last 10 years. Right now, Israel, the Zionists, CIA, and Saudi Arabia are the three devils that need to be put back in a very small box. So we're essentially looking at the U.S. deep state wants a war with North Korea and a war in the Middle East and a war with China over the Spratly Islands. Goldman Sachs desperately needs a war in the Middle East to drive the price of oil up, or they're going to lose billions and billions of dollars on their bad bets. ISIS was created with money from Saudi Arabia, trading from CIA, and weapons from the Pentagon. ISIS is a wholly owned subsidiary of the U.S. deep state. So from the end of World War II, the United States of America has institutionalized evil, and the U.S. government has been a wholly controlled subsidiary of Wall Street. Now, Congress is not only bribed, it's also being blackmailed. NSA has been blackmailing, spying on, and blackmailing U.S. politicians and judges for the last 10 years. Right now, Israel, the Zion.
So, how can you be the creator of something that we are fighting against and then telling us you want to come and fight that? Telling us we should give you our freedom. We should leave our freedom to you. You will now defend our freedom. When you are the one funding, when you are the one perpetuating evil, when you are the one funding the evil empire, sponsoring the evil empire. You think we don't know what's going on now? Your own people saying it. That is why US or NATO, you have no moral audacity to come and tell Africans what to do, what not to do. We don't believe you. We will never believe you. Like I said, if there's a way you can make it right with Africa or with black people, do it. But we don't really care. We don't really care whether you make it right, whether you don't make it right. We don't care. We have come to that point. We don't care no more. We have come to that point. We don't care. We have come to that point to be selfish. And that selfish is about us. It's about black people. We don't care. It's good to be selfish. And that's the point we have reached to. Because we have been waiting so long. We have been patient with you to make it right. I laugh.
Your question?
Yes, with pleasure. We have seen pictures of you applauding the flogging of policemen. We have seen and heard stories, many of them, which are all validated, of thousands and tens of thousands of Asians being evicted from your country. You took their property, you didn't pay them. Is that your wave of the future? Is that all the love you're mentioning all this time?
I think you believe in rumors, and some of this picture, it is not might be from Uganda. I think the people whom I sent away of the British citizens, they were controlling 99 economy of Uganda, all business, industries, and everything. And on top of that, I requested them when I took over in 1971. The power was handed over to me by the members of the armed forces. I asked them to apply for Uganda citizenship. They refused. And they control 99% of the economy. And the whole money they are getting, they don't bank this money in Uganda. They bank this money outside Uganda. And I am sure if they were still up to now, Uganda could have been bankrupt completely. And therefore, there is no other opportunity. The only opportunity was to take that decision for the interest of the people of Uganda. And then I took that decision, but I said that I will pay the compensation, and which I have written to the all government concerned. I'm sure the United States, I have already paid them cash, and I have written.
Now, for some of you who don't know who is speaking, is Idi Amin Adada. There's a reason I brought this video, because I spoke on him previous, podcast. You see, the American writers, the European writers, journalists, media, they made Idi Amin Adada seems like a bad man because they don't want you to research him, to study about him, to see him, to listen for his ideology. First of all, you see what he did? You see the question that the white man asked him. He said, no. I asked these people to be citizens. They did not want to become citizens. They control the Ugandan economy. So I asked them to be citizens. They said no. And the money they were making in Uganda, they was not investing this money here. This money was not in Uganda bank. They were investing this money in Europe and the US. So I have no options. They don't want to be citizens. They don't want to contribute to the economy. They don't want to invest here. They don't want to bank here. Their investments is in Europe and America, overseas. They make the money and they take the money overseas. So what he did, you heard what he said. He called the United States government and the United States citizens that were in Uganda, all the foreigners. He paid them off. He gave them reparation. Now the question then becomes, are the people who are there running behind today, are they giving a reparation in the U.S.? The people they sending back home to where they came from, they believe, are they giving a reparation? This was in 1970s. When Idi Amin Adada, he said it. He paid the United States government off, the United States citizens off. He paid a reparation and they left. After he paid them, he now forced them. But you see, when you read the Western media news or narrative or their book, they will tell you, say, Idi Amin Adada ran them out. Idi Amin Adada ran foreigner out. But here is the man. Because these people did not want to be citizens, he asked them, look, you gotta be citizens here so that we can build this country. So that the money can live here. So that we can invest there. They said no. This man paid them off. He never ran them out. Like when you read book, you listen to Western documentary, they will say he ran the people out. No, he never ran them out. He paid them reparation. He paid them off. You go and colonize a country. You stole their resources. You dig him down there. You killed them. These people turn around and give you reparation. They pay, you make billions of dollars out of their resources. But just because you did not want to be citizens, basically that's what they pay you off for. Because you never want to be citizens, they pay you off for you They pay you because you never want to be citizens of Africa. You never wanted to be citizens to Uganda. That's why they pay you off. My God. They pay somebody off because they never want to be citizens for Uganda. Because they never want to be citizens for Africa. So they have to pay them off. And after they pay them off, they left. But then mainstream media will read their book and say, Idi Amin Dada ran them out, Idi Amin Dada killed them and put their hair, 20 hairs in fridge. Idi Amin Dada ate them. You see the narrative? Here is Idi Amin Dada saying he never did that. In fact, he paid them off.
To government of United Kingdom, and that the discussion is going on. And I have also written to India, which they have got a few Indians. I'm sure the delegation will be coming from India to discuss with the government of Uganda, and we shall pay. We don't say that we cannot pay, but some of the other point which you are saying, it is not true at all. You will find that Uganda is one of the best countries in the world. Can you repeat your question?
Yes, with pleasure. We have seen pictures.
So you heard that. You heard the journalist. We are seeing pictures of XYZ and things. But you see what? Idi Amin Dada. This is his own mouth. He wrote, he didn't diplomatically. He wrote the British government. He wrote the Indian government. And then he wrote or spoke to Washington, D.C. and they pay these people off. And these people left willingly. They left with their own willing mind after they paid them off because they didn't want to be citizens of Africa. After they paid them off, after looting resources upon resources, looting our artifacts, looting our gold. You loot the gold, then they turn around and pay you off. So you see it. That was Idi Amin Dada of Uganda. Folks, go and read about your forefather. Don't listen to white narrative. One who writes history is written in his or her own interest. And the descendant of those people who write it to come after them, written in their interest. It will never be written for your interest and for the descendant of your, and for the interest of your descendant. It's never going to work. It's going to be written in their interest and for their descendant interest. That is why we have to dig history and come out with the truth. The white man is never ever, the colonizer will never ever read a book, all right, against them. The slave master will never ever write a book against the slave master and against his descendant. Never will it happen. Never. Now, we're running out. I want to be out of here by 2 o'clock. So let's see the next article about Equatorial Guinea. We're just going to run through, okay? Let's see the next article. So like I said, let's see here. So let's read the first article here. So I'm just going to go through and read through, right? So you're going to see. I'm not really going to explain to you because we're running out of time. So Equatorial Guinea accuses France of neo-colonialism in Paris Mansion, right? So you see, about for me, these African leaders actually know what neo-colonialism is. Oh my God. So when things go in against their interest, that's the time they know about neo-colonialism. But when they're serving their colonial master, they don't know about neo-colonialism. You see, this is what I said, right? I'm so happy. God. Here, God. Let's read. France, I like what you did, but not to say I support you, but I like what you did. Let's read. Equatorial Guinea sharply criticized France at the United Nations top court on Tuesday, labeling it actions as neo-colonial in a long-running dispute over a lavish multi-million Europe mansion in Paris that was confiscated by the French authority. This is the RCJ, right? These are the so-called stupid African leaders right here. The so-called stupid, dumb. But I love what France is doing in this case, all right? In this context, in this scenario. So let's read. I mean, I read all because I want to get to the United Nations. It's 2 articles. The Central African nations, Equatorial Guinea, have petitioned the International Court of Justice, RCJ, to issue emergency measure to prevent France from selling the property which was seized after the French court convicted Vice President Theodora Ngoma Mbia, commonly known as Theodoran. Now, I think what is going on in Equatorial Guinea, right? The father is the president, and the son is the vice president. So the vice president, Theodora Ngoma Mbia, that's the son. And the father is the president. Now, people from Equatorial Guinea, please drop the chat when you read this, if you are watching right now or the recording. Please put in there if I'm right or if I'm wrong. But it's saying the vice president. But the vice president is the son. So that means the father is the president. Let's read. Let's continue here. So these are the people that are talking about neo-colonialism. Let's read. Let's read. Boy. French authority confiscated the residence, which featured a private cinema, a human, and a marble fighting with gold. A marble fighting with gold taps on legislation targeting wealth illicitly acquired by foreign leader. Let's read here. France and neo-colonialism. This is Equatorial Guinea. France approach. This is Equatorial Guinea quoting. France approach can be described as paternalistic and even neo-colonial. Say Camalio Invano. Camalio Invano Inca, Equatorial Guinea ambassador to France. Let's read on. I love this. According to them, we cannot accept such disregard for our sovereignty. Do you have sovereignty? It is now that you know about sovereignty. When your slave master is coming against you, then that's the time you call your slave master neo-colonial. That's the time you think you are a sovereign nation. But let's read. We cannot accept this. We cannot accept such disregard for our sovereignty. We simply cannot accept it, he added. In 2021, France's highest court of appeal handed Obeya, the oldest, listen to this, the eldest son, the oldest son of Equatorial Guinea long-term president. So you see, long-term president Theodora Mbeya Ngoyan Mamboga, how do you call it? Mbasago. So that means the father is the president. The son is the vice president. So let me read again. In 2021, France's highest court of appeal handed Mbeya, the eldest son of Equatorial Guinea, long-term president Theodora Mbeya Ngoma Mbasago, a 3-year suspended prison sentence and impose a 30 million euro fine. So you see, the president, the father is the president and the son is the vice president. Equatorial Guinea. Please make that clarification here. I'm confused. Let's read. In addition, French authority confiscated assets, including the luxurious property near the Arch de Triomphe, value at over 100 million euro, value over 100 million euro. So we are talking about 118 or 180,000 United States dollars. Yes, about. Let's read. In its most recent complaint filed with the ICJ last week, Equatorial Guinea claimed that France police entered the property last month and changed the lock on several doors. Oh, France. It is sweet me. God, it is sweet me, Papa. I love this. Let's read. This is what good. This is not your property, Equatorial Guinea. It's on French property. First of all, you are so stupid and dumb. Let's read. You know, do you know that, folks, Equatorial Guinea is one of the richest nations in oil? In oil, Equatorial Guinea. Guinea-Bissau? Guinea-Bissau or Equatorial Guinea? One of them. One of the richest nations in oil. I think Equatorial Guinea or Guinea-Bissau. One of them. Yeah, one of them. One of them. But let's read. Hey, God. But go see how people suffer in our country. Poverty. Let's read. The country is urging the court to order France to grant it immediate food and unrestricted access to the building. Let's read on. France still does not seem to understand that we Africans will no longer tolerate. This is where I want to reach. And I will stop here and get to the next point of the article of the UN. Let me read this. France still does not understand or does not seem to understand that we Africans, who made we Africans? You see, when these colonial puppet of a leader, when their slave master go against them, then they want to gain the sympathy of their citizens, of Africans, to be on their side. No, we are not on your side. In this case, we are on the side of France. In this case, we are on the side of France. We are not on your side. Stupid and dumb. Stupid. Idiot. Let's read. France still does not seem to understand that we Africans, who made we Africans? We are not on, we Africans will no longer tolerate interference in our domestic affair. Since when have you tell other African leaders that we need to come together so that, we need to come together and we are tired of America or Europe or the West interfering into our affairs? Since when? But when your property, when your bank's account have been tampered with, that's the time you want to gain African sympathy. Then you want to say we Africans will not agree into European infiltrating, interfering into our assets when they have tampered with your bank. Do you think we care if America come and take your bank in Europe? Do you think we care if Europeans go and take your money and take your property? You think we care? We will clap and clap and clap. We will sing joyful song and sing. France does not seem to understand that we Africans will no longer tolerate interference in our domestic affair. It is now evidence that France intends. So it is now evident that now that you know. Let me take this up. Let's look at the quote, the ruling from the court. These idiots. You think we care about how you feel? You take African money. You take African resources. See, you build this kind of mansion. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? This property is not even for Equatorial Guinea. It's for is for the vice president, the son of the president. It's for the president's son, because the father is the president, the son is the vice president. It's for the president's son. The building is not for Equatorial Guinea. It's a private building owned by the president's son, who is the vice president. You build this kind of multi-million-dollar house in France. And then they have gold in a house. Do you know the reason why they are fighting for this building? This is where they have the gold of Equatorial Guinea. There. They don't have gold reserve in Equatorial Guinea, but they have this place in France. That's where they have the gold reserve. That's where they have their money. You think we get time in France ticket? That's why you don't want to have bank in Africa for people to monitor your banks. Stupid. You think we get time? No, in this case, we are not African. In this case, we are not African like you. No, don't come and say, oh, we African, we're not take this neo-colonial. No. In this case, we are not Africans. In this case, in this scenario, in this context, we are not Africans. You are on your own. In this case, we are French. In this aspect, we are French. Stupid. This is the United Nations. Oh God. Thank you so much, UN. I don't support you. I don't like you in a way. But let's read. The United Nations quotes back France. The UN quote back France in Paris martial law with Equatorial Guinea. Judges at the United Nations High Court have handed France a legal victory in a long-running legal battle with Equatorial Guinea over a Paris mansion once owned by the son of President Theodora Mbian Ngoma. You see it? A building. Hey God. This is the son right here. That's the son. And that's the vice president. African leader. Oh God, these people, they are cursed. They are cursed unto them. No, the ground is blessed because we have our mineral. It is rich. They are cursed. These people, cursed on them. That's the son. And the vice president as well. Oh God. Theodora Nguma Umbenya Mangua. Picture arriving. Picture, that's him arriving for celebrations. For celebration of making her birthday. On June 24th, 2013. That's it right there. Imagine. Oh God. Let's read anyway. The International Court of Justice ruled on Friday that France does not have to hand back. Let me read again. The International Court of Justice ruled on Friday that France does not have to hand back the luxurious residence on Avenue 4, one of the French capital most exclusive addresses, which it sees doing a corruption prop into Theodora Ngoma Mbian Mangui. He is Equatorial Guinea vice president and the son of long-term ruler Theodora Mbian Ngoma Mambosago. The case was launched in 2022 with Equatorial Guinea accusing France of breaching international law by holding onto the property. Does international law respect you in the first place? You are idiot to believe that international law protects you. They don't care for you. If international law protects you, then by now you would have a veto power in the United Nations, a whole continent. Stupid. Let's read. The government argued that the taking of the property, the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, and asked the court for urgent provision measure to stop France selling the Martian and to return it immediately. I'll stop here, man. This one is sweet. This one is sweet. Look, France, thank you, bravo, thank you, thank you, thank you. Not that I support you taking African property, though, but this particular one, take it. Look, you know what? Look, I will even be pleased if you go into Western banks and take these African leaders. Take the money, go to the banks, take all their money. Trust me, we will go on various podcasts and praise you. These African leaders go to every banks and take their money. But I know you will not do it. And guess what? What I'm going to do here is, I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to dig behind this story. Why is France going after this property? Now, I reported on this, right? But I want to know why. Because these white people, these Europeans, these folks, if they're going against an African leaders, then that means something wrong somewhere. If they are for an African leaders, then that means nothing wrong somewhere. So, something wrong somewhere. So, I have to dig behind the story. That will be my next assignment, to find out why France went after this property. Because we are urging Donald Trump. We urge Donald Trump. We urge the European government. Every African money, every African leaders who bank overseas, hey God, we are asking them to do us a favor. Don't wait till an African leaders don't want to accept your stupid foreign policy, then before you start going after them. And that's what baffles us, that's what pains us. You don't love Africa. If you love Africa, America, Washington, D.C., Europe, Donald Trump, you love Africa, go after these African leaders. All the banks, all their money they have in the U.S., please, we beg you. You love Africa, go after them. Then we will come on podcast here and talk about strengthening the relationship with you in Africa. But other than that, trust me, we don't care how you're going to strengthen your relationship. We don't even care. We don't care. This is a different time period. Now we are telling you what to do. But if you said, when an African leader don't want to accept your foreign policy now, then you want to go after them to go take that money and say, oh, the African leader have billions of dollars in this bank. We will not still support you. I'm telling you, because you are doing it because they don't want to be the puppet. That's why you are doing it. But for now, please, if you do it, trust me, we will strengthen that relationship with Africa and the US. If you do it, we will strengthen that relationship with Europe and the US. Go after Tinubu. The money he have overseas here, go after it. I'm telling you, all these African leaders, go after them. It is the African money. It is the African resources. But you don't want to do it. And then when African leaders try to turn around up to go to their people, then that's the time you want to say, oh, Africa, Tinubu have billions of dollars here. You think will support you? No, you are doing it for a reason. It will not support you. Folks, this is today's presentation. We stop here. We know Abraham Traore, the AES nation, they are not going to accept Donald Trump offer. We know that for sure. They are not going to accept it. We know that because if they do it, we ourselves, Abraham Traore know we will be coming for him. Assimi Gaita know we will be coming for him. Tiani, they know we will be coming for them. And they accept that deal to give their resources and then the US go and fight and kill the terrorists, when they are the same people funding the terrorists, when they are the same people funding this terrorist group, when they are the same people giving ammunition to them, when they are the same people giving them money, when they are the same people hiring these people as a private military in our region, we know it's not going to work anyway. They are wasting their time. Like I said, the United States is not in any moral standing to tell Africans who to believe, who to trust, or who not to trust. Europe is not in any moral standing to tell Africans who to believe, who to trust, or who to take, who not to take. Because history speaks for us. And not only in history, even the present speaks for us. So let Africans decide who is our friends, who we want to make our friends. If we want to bring the United States back, that's fine. But the United States should not tell us. You don't dictate to us. If we want to bring Europe back, that's fine. We want to bring France back, that's fine. But don't dictate to us. Don't tell us what to do and what not to do. Because you are in a hot seat, US. You are in a hot mess. Like I said, I don't know how you're going to make it right with Africa, but make it right. Other than that, we don't really care. If you can make it right, make it right. But I don't know how you're going to make it right. Europe, if you can make it right, make it right. I don't know how you're going to make it right. Because you are still saying slavery was good. Then how are you going to make it right? You are still saying colonization was good. You are still saying block breaking was good. You are saying selling black baby. Giving black baby life to alligator was good. Alligator bait was good. Raping them, raping our sisters, our mother was good. Putting our mothers on slave plantation was good. Having them, getting them pregnant, and then when they get baby, then you sell the baby to plantation owner like animals was good. I don't know how you're going to make it right with African people. I don't know how you're going to make it right with black people. But hey, if you can make it right, make it right. But we're moving. No retreat, no surrender. Don't tell us who to hate, and don't tell us who to love. Peace.
The white power structure, because that's all we have in America. And the white power structure today is just as much interested in perpetuating slavery as the white power structure was 100 years ago. Only now they use modern methods of doing so. And realizing that the black people in this country are waking up and becoming filled with a desire to be looked upon as men and as human beings. The white